So this video is to try and help you with Jamovi Lab 1. This lab is based on the R Lab from Chapter 3 of the Introduction to Modern Statistics 2E textbook. So the first thing that you need to do is you need to download Jamovi. So go to Jamovi, go to this link, click here, and you basically have to pick whichever computer you have and select appropriately. So after you've done that, let me go back, you're going to end up with a screen that looks something like this. Now, if you have a Mac or you have a PC, you want to set yourself up so that you can easily find your Jamovi link on your desktop or on your laptop. So if you're a Mac user, you're going to bring the Jamovi link here somewhere in your dock. So I'm going to click on Jamovi. And so we're going to have an interface that looks something like this. All right. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to figure out how to get some data into our Jamovi program. So we're going to come up here to our little, what is referred to as the hamburger. Click on that, and we're going to go ahead and hit open. Now, I've already downloaded the file that we're using. So I'm going to click on that, and then we have all of that information present here. All right, the data are organized as a data frame with 82 rows and 3 columns. So if I scroll all the way to the bottom, you'll see I have 82 rows, and you'll see that I have 3 columns. Each row represents an observational unit. So this is an observational unit, this is an observational unit, and so forth. And each column represents a variable. There are also row numbers on the left side of the spreadsheet that are not part of the data frame. So these are not part of the data frame. When you open a data file in Jamovi, the software will automatically try to guess the type of data in each column. However, you should check to make sure that Jamovi assigns the data types correctly. If you're entering the data in manually, you'll want to make sure that you're giving it appropriate labels. So to change the data type of a column, click on the Data tab. Okay. Then click on the Setup icon. And so year is continuous and integer. Okay. Let's take a look at boys. When we look at boys, we have continuous and integer, and girls, continuous and integer. Each data variable has a measure type and a data type. If you click on them, you can see you have nominal, ordinal, continuous ID, and you have integer, decimal, or text. Okay. Now, going back to year, since year is a numeric variable, we want to make sure again that it is continuous and it's integer. When you look at the variables boys and girls, you should also have continuous and integer for both of those as well. When you're done, you can click on the setup icon again, and then you just return back to the spreadsheet. This data set contains data on the number of baptisms in London from 1629 to 1710. The year column contains the year of the observation, and the boys and girls columns contain the number of boys and girls baptized. The data were collected by John Arbuthnot, a physician and mathematician living at the time. Not sure I said the name correctly. So, we can use Jamovi to plot the data, to visualize the trends in the number of baptisms over time. To create a plot, click on the Analysis tab, which is right up here, and then click on Exploration icon, which is right in this space, and then click on Scatter Plot. Okay. The Scatter Plot interface will appear, and it will look something like this. You can drag and drop the variables you want into the x-axis and y-axis boxes. Drag the year variable into the x-axis. So one way to do that is to click on it and then hit the arrow, or I can click here and remove it, or I can grab the year and just drag it over and drop. Whoops. Drag it over and drop. Okay. And we're going to do the girls on the y-axis, and you should see a scatter plot of the number of girls over time, and it'll look something like this. Now, a couple of questions to ask. Is there a trend over time? And how would you visualize the number of boys baptized over time? Well, if we wanted to do the number of boys, we would click on boys and we would put that in place there. And you'll notice that the distributions, the scatter plots look pretty similar. Okay. I will do something here. I'm going to pop in linear, and you'll notice that we have a best fit line popped in. Let me do a couple of things here and see if I can't go ahead for a moment. There we go. So if I click on linear regression and I put year in the covariate, and I put girls in the dependent variable. So what I'm doing is this is my independent and this is my dependent variable. I'm able to get an R value and an R squared value, and that will come up later. And we're also able to get our linear regression equation there. Now, let me undo what I did. All right, so I need to go back to exploration, scatter plot. I want year on the x-axis, and I want boys on the y-axis. All right. Now suppose we want to plot the total number of baptisms over time rather than the number of girls or boys separately. We can create a new variable in the data frame that is the sum of the boys and girls variables. Okay, so creating a new variable. We're going to go to our data tab. Okay, and we're going to try and add the variable to the right of the girls column. If I wanted to add it to the right of the boys column, I'd click on boys and so forth. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to click on the girls column, and we're going to go on the compute icon. So we're going to click compute. So and then we're going to change the name to total. So we're going to come up here, and we're going to go total. And then we're going to enter in here boys plus girls in the formula box. And we're going to hit return. And what you're going to see is we've created a new variable that is the sum of these two. So 5,218 plus 4,683 is a total of 9,901. Okay. Now we can create a scatter plot of the total number of baptisms over time. Now, so what we do is we're going to go back to analysis. We're going to click on exploration. We're going to click on scatter plot. We're going to put year in the x-axis, and we're going to put total in the y-axis. And it's not surprising that the scatter plot looks similar to what we had before, because when we did the scatter plot for boys, and I'll just back out total, and I'll put boys in there, you'll notice that the scatter plot for boys looks a lot like the scatter plot for girls. And if we add those, and if you look at the scales here, and we put total in, the scales are the sum of the boys' scales and the girls' scales. And so the shapes are fairly consistent. Okay, so we want to do some numerical summaries. We can calculate numerical summaries for data. For example, we can calculate the minimum and the maximum numbers of the total baptisms in the data. So let's see what we have here. We want to click on the Analysis tab, got that, and then click on the Exploration icon, and we want descriptives in there. Now, since we want to summarize the total variable, drag the total variable into the variables box. And you'll notice that we have an n of 82. There's nothing missing. Our mean is this, our median is here, our standard deviation, we have our minimum and our maximum. Now, if we just want to have our minimum and our maximum presented, what we do is we're going to click on this Statistics tab here, and we're going to click on everything except for minimum and maximum, and we're going to leave those up. And so here's our descriptives. And if we need to do a screenshot or copy and paste, I highlight this just by clicking on it, and then I believe on a PC you would right-click it. For here, I'm not sure on a Mac. I think that there is a way, but I don't remember what it is. What I tend to do is on the Mac, I'll hit the Shift key, the Command key, and the number 4. And so I do Shift, Command, number 4, and you get this little, like, it looks like a little bullseye, and you can just hold down on the touchpad, and you can copy this just by cutting and paste, and you'll notice that I have the screenshot right there, and I'm able to apply it wherever I need to at that point in time. Okay? All right. So there's some instructions in here. To copy a table or a plot, right-click on the table or plot and select Copy. If you're using a Mac without a right-click button, hold Control, and then click instead of right-clicking. So I'm holding the Control button down, and I'm clicked, and there's my option to copy. Oh, nice. I didn't know that, to be honest. Then you can paste. All right. I'm hopeful that that helps. Have a good one.